Yeah. If I die tomorrow, I hope you hear these words. I ain't here to flip no birds, accept no serve. Hope the future generations can get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
It's Nerd Tuesdays. What's up, everybody?
Hey guys.
What's up? Welcome back.
What's going on, guys? I'm glad to be back too. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah,
it's always
I
fun.
mean, it's fun when you're on. I don't know if the discussion of the movie is going to be fun. Not the jury's still out on that one.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Well, Val is back with us as guest host today because, again, we all excited, wanted to talk Suicide Squad today, but we're going to get into that. So do I go into the announcements first, guys, or should we just introduce ourselves? I don't know. Should we do that? Introduce ourselves? It's your boy, Sebastian.
It's your boy, Law.
And your boy, Tone, from across the hall.
And with us, we have guest host under me right here, VMAC. So first things first, let's get into the announcements, guys. So this way we can get into our topics because we have a great show. So first, if you're not subscribing to us, please do. Please. I'm begging you. Because we have great interviews coming out. Chandra Free's interviews coming out this Friday. Again, we have a lot of great interviews. I mean, I'm gonna just spoil it right now. We have over 10 plus creative interviews recorded, prime, ready to go. So if you're not subscribing to the channel, you're missing some awesome creative interviews. Sat down with some awesome people. We're on TikTok. We make fools of ourselves sometimes on TikTok. At least I do. I don't know.
Sebastian.
Yeah, it's Sebastian the Fool. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make that brand. But yeah, follow us subscribe to us, follow us, learn all the new things that are coming out. We got some great things, some great interviews. And again, Chandra Free is coming out this Friday. Great, amazing talent, comic creator. So again, I definitely want you guys to hit that up. Beyond Con. So what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to share the screen so I could talk more about this show. Okay.
Go for it, my man.
So in Beyond Con, guys, it's coming out the 28th and the 29th. We got 2 weeks, 3 days, 20 hours, 57 minutes, and the seconds keep going. And Beyond Con is at the end of this month. It's going to be a virtual show, free for general admissions for everyone to attend. Just to give you guys a head up, there are over 30 plus panels that are there. So again, in Beyond Con, you guys definitely want to check this out. And if you are a cosplayer, these were just updated today. The cosplay section. So look at that. If you're a cosplayer and you want to enter into virtual cosplay contests, go here, go online. Look, there is $100 Amazon or Apple gift card on the line for the winner. All you gotta do is follow the instructions to submit. Again, in Beyond Con, again, it's 28th, 29th. And what you guys can do is use code Get Nerdy with it to get 10% off VIP tickets. There is going to be VIP packages that are going to be available there for everyone. So let me stop sharing that one. We're back here. Finally, we want to also give a shout out to Geeks Out Staten Island. We will be there September 5th for the virtual show, talking about getting into starting a podcast. For anybody who's interested in starting a podcast, it's going to be a great panel for those who are looking to start a podcast and everything. And we're going to get into the comments because there are comments already flushing in. I just want to get through the announcement, guys. But the 5th, the 4th is if you're there in person. So September 4th, they will be in person. So anyone around the Staten Island area, you want to go to a con, check them out on September 4th. The website is there. September 5th, it goes virtual for those who can attend, who just want to check it out. So again, September 5th is the virtual show, and we will be there on the virtual show talking about getting into paneling and all that, and pretty much doing what we do right now. October 23rd and 24th, Poughkeepsie Galleria Mall, and Criticon is happening. Make sure you check out their website for updates. We know things are happening, but make sure you check out their website. Also, check out Mike Lopez over there in Credit Chat. Again, he has some great interviews that are going up. He just recently had a great sit down with Michael Gracia, who is also in Get In Tune, a host for Get In Tune. Also too, guys, make sure you're checking out the Nerds Network after the show. Bunch of great links that are there. Like, for example, the Medusa's Cascade, which comes out with new episodes every Saturday. You get to hear me, Tony, and Law, as well as the other great cast at Beyond, bringing this great D&D podcast here. So if you love the world of D&D, come check out, because, Kyver is the man. There we go. Yes. All lies. What up, Jero?
What's up, Jarrell?
Hey,
Hey.
boom.
She knows.
So-
she knows.
Without further ado, first of all, before I bring this invasion out, because it's technically I'm gonna call it an invasion. Let's share the screen here. So we like to give a lot of different event shout outs, as everyone knows, and all that. And one of the dope things that is happening this Friday, if you're in the New Jersey area, is We Are Wrestling. A show that's happening on August 13th at 7 p.m. The address is right there at the Phil Sheridan building in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. We are great supporters for the person who is running this show. And again, they have an awesome lineup of talent that is going to put on some great matches for you guys. Again, if you love indie wrestling or just love wrestling in general, and you are in the New Jersey area, or you want to travel to the New Jersey area, make sure you're following We Are Wrestling. And because they are in the building invading us, first off, we want to bring in the big game, Leroy Green, and the voice of the generation, Pete Rosado from We Are
Hey.
Wrestling.
What's going on? What's going on?
Hey. What's up, everybody? I mean, this
Hi,
is
guys.
the first time I've been on this screen, so it's a little surprising, right? And you know what? Let me just say this. Whether you're in Jersey, not in Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Delaware, if you're in the area, Ridgefield Park is right there. It's very quick to get there from anywhere in the tri-state area, even from outside the tri-state area. If you're in New York, guess what? No tolls to pay until you go back home if you're driving in, right? You go over the GW, you don't even pay the turnpike, you go right over into Ridgefield Park. You only got to worry about coming back home. And trust me, after the show we put on Friday, you won't even worry about that $16 toll at the GW. And if you don't want to pay the toll at all, there are PATH trains. There is New Jersey Transit that will get you there, that will leave early enough to get you back to the city on a very affordable dime. Let me tell you, Friday night is going to be one heck of a show. And I am proud to have Leroy Green with us. Big game Leroy, who's actually a recent addition to the show card, came in to take a place of Rob Killjoy. And I've known Leroy for many, many years. And,
Oh my
great
gosh,
kid
too
to do
long.
business with Leroy. He'll be part of our 5-person style scramble match, which will include both Leroy, El Oso Blanco, Bruno, the Kick Demon, Janai Kai, the American gangster and member of Prolific, Isaiah Wolf, and the Colossal One, Mike Law, who is also a trainer over at the Fallout Shelter. Big shout outs to them and Battle Club Pro. If you're looking for a place to train, there are lots of great wrestling schools. And actually, our pre-show match is going to be a shout out just to that. Our pre-show match is going to include 3 talents from 3 schools in the relative area, 1 in Jersey, 1 in New York, and 1 actually up in Maine, the Limitless School, the Limitless Dojo. So we'll be including 3 students from 3 prominent wrestling schools in the area just to show you, guess what? You may not realize what's out there, but there are a lot of great wrestling schools that are producing the future of professional wrestling.
Nice.
And you guys
What a
definitely want to
promo!
look at that.
Yeah,
I was gonna
that was
say,
great.
she did that nonstop.
One hell of a
There's
promo.
little
Wanted to
bro chat.
breathe, all
I miss your
that.
face.
Listen, he has to live up to that name, voice of a generation. So
Right,
we
it's
want to
very true.
welcome Pete. We want to welcome Leroy. And again, you guys definitely, if you're big wrestling fans, check the show out, follow them, give them the support.
And if you're
because
not,
we-
we'll make you big wrestling fans. Even if
yeah.
you're not a wrestling fan, first wrestling show, never seen one, only ever seen WWE, WWF. Your dad used to tell you, your mom used to tell you watch AEW, NWA, whatever you come out on Friday. I guarantee you, when you leave Ridgefield Park on Friday night, you will be a wrestling fan for life.
Look, let me tell you straight up. You can go for your first time and you can be eating a hamburger and then an entertainer can just go right on your lap. It happened to me. It happened to me. It is a good time. And
Nice.
Pete, wanted to let you know I don't know if Seabass, you want to pop up that promo art really quick. I'm looking at that art and I'm just waiting for someone to start singing, "You're gonna take me for a ride."
Yo, for real.
Oh yeah, the inspiration is very
Let's go.
clear.
Let's show
Very,
it again.
very
There we
clear.
go. There we go.
I get ill MVC2 vibes from
Yes.
the car. I don't know if that was
Oh,
done on
that's definitely have
purpose.
to be
It
intentional.
was.
Okay.
We did a really cool video game. So I had this really great idea when I first started thinking about this. I was really enamored with the character selection screen from MVC2. And that's what I wanted to do. But we actually really expanded the motif that we used for the entire build for the show. All of the announcements for all of the talent were done using all of the announcements for all of the talent were done using the Super Smash New Challenger Approaching screen. So every time we announced the talent for the show, you saw a big video pop up on our social media, New Challenger Approaching, and then the graphic came in. And then the match announcements, we actually went Tekken. And so all of the match announcements, when we made the match announcements, came up with the let's get ready for the next battle. And then it went straight to the match graphic. And then obviously MVC2 for the main graphic. And the cool thing with that graphic is I have that graphic in poster form. And if you purchase a VIP ticket for Friday's show, which are still on sale, brownpapertickets.com, search up We Are Wrestling, you will get a fully autographed poster of that exact same graphic. If you purchase a VIP ticket, you can buy non-autographed posters at the event if there are any left available. But we will have those in poster form for fans on Friday.
Nice.
Guys, if you again, wrestling fans, if you heard it here first, you're going to hear it. And again, make sure you're checking it out. What was that website again, Pete?
brownpapertickets.com. Search up We Are Wrestling. If you go to our Instagram, We Are Wrestling on Instagram, the link is in the bio. And if you search us up on Twitter, it is on our pinned tweet. You can click right on the ticket link in our pinned tweet. You can also find us on Facebook at We Are Wrestling. If you look up the event, want to be starting something, you will find the ticket link on the event as well.
All right. So again, guys, make sure We Are Wrestling. So now let's get into the topic of the hour two, the topic 2 of the hour, which is the Suicide Squad. But before we get into Suicide Squad, there is something that is a bit of a trademark here. Tony, take it away.
Yes, we are talking about the capital T, capital article, the Suicide Squad. Not 2016 Suicide Squad, not bring back hashtag release the Ayer cut Suicide Squad. We are talking about the Suicide Squad. We are going all in on spoilers. Jarrell, you have been warned. George, you have been warned. We're going all in. You want to know what happens? Everyone in this fucking movie almost dies. Literally. The first 10 minutes, everyone that we thought was going to be in is gone. And we got the main 6 characters throughout it. So there you go. Most people.
Nom, 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 nom.
So I want to get initial thoughts. So Leroy, it's your first time on the podcast here. So I want to get your initial thoughts on Suicide Squad. What are your give us your initial thoughts when you saw the previews and everything, because I know you didn't get to see too much of the movie, but what are your initial thoughts of the previews from what you saw versus the Ayer cut and everything?
So for me, it was just tonally, like everything was completely different. Just the composition of like how the colors came out and just how like everything looked. I feel like the DC movies, it's not a hot take to say that usually it's a shade of gray. Usually everything's very gray, very dark, and very gritty. I don't think it's a hot take. I don't think it's controversial. And very clearly James Gunn's impact is already clearly felt. Like it was very colorful. I know with the original Suicide Squad, there was some comedic elements. Like at the time it was more comedic than anything else they were doing with the DCEU, but like this is clearly super comedic. They wanted the characters to feel very lighthearted. They wanted them to all feel quirky and funny and relatable, even if they're all sociopaths. And I thought it was really fun. And I feel like it definitely gave me the Guardians of the Galaxy misfits of toys vibe. And I'm sure that's what James Gunn was going for sure. You know, Suicide Squad, Guardians of the Galaxy, it's some similar tropes with this weird sort of pseudo family archetype that isn't really there from a lot of whatever the DC's been doing lately.
Jarrell, I will give you my thoughts on that, so hold on tight to that. Val, I want to get your thoughts. We were talking in the green room, so please give us your thoughts. The amazing Batgirl Val.
I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it. It's an enjoyable movie. It's one of the better ones of DC. Definitely. So I like earlier half more than the later half. For me, it was the story wasn't completely fleshed out. Some things were thrown in there that didn't make sense at certain parts, but it worked for the most part. I enjoyed it. I thought it was just okay. I like it. I'm not blown out of the water for it though.
And we see Tone's nemesis has taken in there. Pete, this is a match that you're gonna have to book. Is Mayhem Mike takes on Tone. Pacing was all over the place. So I'm gonna get you for that one. Love the beard law.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
Editing was weird.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna get into that, brother.
I have this specific thing that irks my soul throughout at the end. It was just, but we'll talk about it.
Well, we're going to talk about it. We're good. Gerald likes to jump. We're going to bring him in, but we have to make sure his internet connection works. I'm sorry, Gerald.
Wow.
Love you, brother. But look, George agrees with you. But as we were talking and booking matches and everything, Pete, what were your initial thoughts on Suicide Squad?
I mean, I thought it was really, so I'm really a big fan of a lot of the kind of one-off and really like D-list villains, anti-heroes that they were using. It was like really interesting. You know, talking about like little things that mess with you, like especially when you think of like that opening scene and what happens before we get into the main story. It's just like, you mean to tell me, like, and again, this is something that I should be concerned about, but you mean to tell me we paid all these top dollar Hollywood salaries for certain name actors just to have them in for like a handful of scenes? Like I felt really, and the only one I really felt bad about was Captain Boomerang. I actually really enjoyed him from the first one.
It was such a waste.
Yeah, I mean, then again, I don't mind Pete Davidson. I don't mind Falula Borg. I don't mind some of them going. But
Mongal was hilarious.
But yeah, Mongol was, you know, but when you look at the way, I thought the movie was done okay. I mean, it was one of the things that I really like about DC and that they have yet to realize themselves is that when they allow themselves to do movies that are in its own vacuum while mentioning other properties, it works. Aquaman worked because it was a movie solely encapsulated about Aquaman with small little little things that mentioned other things going on in the universe. Wonder Woman worked because it wasn't bogged down by what else was going on in the universe. And Suicide Squad, even this one to me worked because it wasn't really outside of like the mention of like why Bloodsport is in prison. Outside of the mention to why he's in prison and outside of like Harley's little exposés and things like that, it wasn't bogged down by anything else happening in the DC universe. So it can happen in its own vacuum. And that's when their movies tend to work.
Like Shazam.
Right.
Yes.
I do have to agree though. I was not a fan of like the hyper focus on the title transitions. With all of that, I was just like, I feel like it was just way too Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like, I get that he was pulling on what works, and it worked. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, I want to see a DC movie, not something that looks like cut and paste from the MCU. But other than that, I thought the characters were great. I got to give James Gunn a lot of credit. I think only James Gunn could have made me care about Polka Dot Man the way that he did. Like when you think about the level of villains that they used for the ones who survive, right? It's just like, wow, I actually give a crap about Polka Dot Man. I actually think this guy could be good. I love the way that they worked Ratcatcher 2's story. I love that backstory. So I loved what a lot of it was, and big ups to Viola Davis. She has stolen both movies. Viola Davis deserves a Best Actress Academy Award because that woman as Amanda Waller, there should never be another Amanda Waller. but Viola Davis.
Oh no, they can't. They can't. I mean, I'm gonna get you and Tony's thoughts in a second, but Gerald, well, that's why the MCU will always be better. They can be the movie into itself and be part. Well, I'm gonna go into my theory really quick, and I want to get then I'm gonna pick Law and then Tony. The first Suicide Squad movie for me, DC. I'm not gonna say they limited Ayer, but they wanted something to kind of mimic what Guardians and Deadpool was doing at the time. Because if you notice, the first trailers for their first Suicide Squad movie was dark, but then all of a sudden we had these light trailers with music and everything. So I felt like that's why the first Suicide Squad movie felt all over the place. And then they were just adding people like the Joker. I remember just reading that James Gunn wanted it to do a Superman in this movie too. I'm glad they didn't, and they just left it on the characters. So that's what kind of made this stand out to me. I mean, there are elements in this movie I think didn't work, but there are elements that just worked a lot better than a lot of the other DC movies. Is it the greatest movie? No. Is it a fun movie? Yes, it is a fun movie just to watch. Yes, the plot at sometimes can get a little bit all over the place, but let's be honest. They gave us John Cena in tidy whities. I didn't see it, but you know, and I was laughing because, yeah, it was like they gave us anti-Cena. It's like he played this goody two shoes in the WWE for so long, and then to have him play, this was like the role he was born to play, and it was this dude. He just hit it out the park. I mean, I just want to see the bag of dick memes now. So, but
and you wonder why wrestling fans. You wonder why wrestling fans for a long time wanted to see Cena play a bad guy, because he can play a douche very, very well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I big agree.
No, Jero. Behave yourself. Only when they have brown streaks. Go ahead, Law.
Wow.
I gotta put Jero in the corner.
Go meet yourself. Go meet yourself.
So,
And,
wow,
and you know what? Another big up to I believe it was Sly Stallone, who voiced King Shark. Like,
yes.
Did he? I didn't
Yeah,
know
he
that.
did.
Yeah.
So
That
Sylvester
was good.
Stallone is the voice of King Shark, and I mean, how do you not fall in love with that character?
Oh, we're gonna get into it with the characters.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into it.
Like,
But go ahead, Law. What were your thoughts?
You had your like baby Groot and adult Groot and like King Shark, and then Sebastian the Rat.
Right.
You know, it was like the cutest two things to see in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Initial thoughts? Oof.
Go ahead, Law.
So I would say better than the first one for sure. The first one felt like it was going somewhere and then went way off the reservation path. Like we were just like, where are you going? That's not how you do this. This felt like, all right, we're gonna do a fresh take. Like you said, it exists in a vacuum, which is probably the better move. But it felt like two different plots that they were trying to make work a little bit. Overall, you know, dope, interesting characters, whatever the case is. Like, I like that they literally were like, we're going to bottom of the barrel, get you some like people that we never heard of, and get you not only like interested in them, but invested in them, and like see like where they're gonna go. Were there parts that like I was like, whatever? Absolutely. Is this one of my favorite DC movies? Absolutely not. But it wasn't, it wasn't the first one, which is not saying a lot, but it is, if that makes sense. I think only like we've said, James Gunn only could have done this movie and like done it the way it was supposed to be done. I think it was too much of Guardians for what he wanted to do. Like it felt too like we're gonna have fun. And it's like we get it.
We can
have
definitely
fun.
feel the influence.
We can have fun, but remember, like Suicide Squad is literally just like I want Suicide Squad Assault on Arkham. Like it can still have its moments of fun, but still be like, oh shit. You know what I mean? So those are my initial thoughts for the most part.
Tony,
All
take us away with your thoughts, and then we're gonna get into characters.
All right. So yeah, I mean, it's like night and day difference between a Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad. Like, Law was saying, the first Suicide Squad is you are in perpetual recalculating mode on the GPS when you're driving. It's just all over the place. This one, I like what we've been talking about with everything with the DCEU, self-contained plots tend to be what works for the DCEU at this point of where we're at. And they tried to keep it as simple as possible and add in a couple wrinkles, go into this country, get the information. You find out that America was the one with Staryu and all this other stuff. I think, it felt, the starfish. It felt very much like Guardians of the Galaxy, but I also was walking into this like, how is it not going to feel like Guardians of the Galaxy?
Right.
I walked into it expecting it to be a rated R version of Guardians with James Gunn kind of being able to do whatever the hell he wants and not worry about Disney shareholders telling him you can't do this. And
right.
I think we got that from this film.
Which
and also
I'm surprised that DC didn't like put their claws on it.
I mean, it's also but they're also at a point of like, we just need to let these people do, because apparently every time we get involved, the shit sucks.
Right.
I mean, every time that's what we're seeing with, David Ayer had voiced out his piece and said that they took his movie and they did what they did with it because of the reaction of Guardians of the Galaxy. We go from dark, dreary, gray filter to fucking Queen in your trailers. So
right.
So I think they let him do whatever he did. We got a satisfactory kind of product. I think the highlights of the movie are the character moments. For me.
Yeah.
Every character had their moment, and that's to me what carries it, and not the plot, because there really wasn't much you can do with the plot, I felt, without interacting with the other bigger DCEU characters. So I agree, Law. Assault on Arkham would have been dope, but then they have to go into the murky waters of interacting with established characters potentially in Gotham, and see how that goes.
They don't even know what they're doing with yet.
Which they don't even.
That's a bigger problem.
Exactly.
They don't know what they're doing with their larger properties. That there's so much confusion about what's happening with Superman, what's happening with Batman, what's happening with all these other things, that you can't go into
convoluted.
Yeah.
They throw so much at you and try and then don't follow through on what they intend in the first place. So then it's just a dead, like, piece thrown at you, like, and it doesn't even matter anymore. It doesn't even, they try to do what Marvel does, but it doesn't work for them. So they need to learn their own lane, and that's the problem.
I'm gonna pick on Gerald because Gerald says James Gunn's pays all my shit. So because it was essentially he knows how.
I mean, but whatever. Let him.
He can do whatever he wants.
It's his.
Tone, apparently you're supposed to have a lobster roll.
It's all about that big ass sandwich that Tone had last time.
It was a wild time. I had a lobster roll. I've had many lobster rolls down here in South Jersey. So
wow. Tone, I'm glad you brought up character moments, because that was the biggest difference in this movie, is that there were more character moments. There were more time for the characters to shine. It felt like more of seeing the characters, because again, like, for example, we felt that the big mistake with David Ayers was that, okay, we're just going to throw Batman in here. We're going to throw, it was trying to get that Batman tone. It didn't feel like the movie had its own tone. And I keep using tone, sorry, Tone. But this is like, we had a different tone because we saw more of the character moments, more of the characters, and it was a little bit more tongue-in-cheek and fun. So I'm going to ask everybody, who were some of their favorite characters in the movie? Why were some of these guys your favorite characters? We can just start throwing out characters right now, because there are so many characters that did appear in this movie. Even if we had them for a brief second, rest in peace, Boomerang. I am so sorry. Wait, hold up. George, Idris Elba and my scene and his daughter was the best scene in the movie. Yeah, that was funny.
That was hilarious when they cursed each other out.
I thought that the Rebel Camp rescue scene was funny and twisted way. Yes, it was too. Yes, it was. But what was something?
I had a feeling, like, part of me was like,
feeling the moment that Flag was caught.
Yeah, like, these guys are way too, like, calm and chilling.
They're home.
And
they weren't on a government. They weren't on defense. It wasn't protecting anything. It wasn't like a government ran thing. So when Flag was caught, I was like, okay, I knew he was safe. It was like the fact that they sent him, she said, to kill everyone. I'm thinking Waller knew that they weren't there, and she did that on purpose. So when I see that some of my friends was like, oh, I didn't even know that was going to happen that way. It was so funny. I was like, but I saw that. I seemed to be the only one who really caught it, but that scene was hilarious. It was just crazy. The exploding bullet.
It was all one-upsmanship between Bloodsport and Peacemaker.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It was a very good scene. Weasel dying in the very beginning, drowning, his screaming and I laughed so hard. It was so bad watching this guy die and drown. But did anybody check to see if he could swim? And I started dying.
Yo, for real.
Yeah, it was this plain Suicide Squad movie. So we're Leroy, what we're gonna do is give you homework. So when you see it, we want to get your reactions from all these scenes. Just post it.
I don't mean it's a spoiler.
No. You're all good. I mean, I'm just gonna send you a whole gallery of like pictures of me and just like literally all my reactions to every single scene.
Right.
We're gonna call every single scene. So it's like even like the jellyfish scene. What up with it? That was weird.
Oh wait, num nums.
And it was going to be a tender father. Yeah, I mean, I again, Idris Elba playing Bloodsport. How did you guys feel when you got to see Bloodsport interacting with his daughter?
That was a great scene.
So
that was
good.
a great scene. It was acted well. It was hilarious, and he basically was like, "Bro, I didn't want your ass in the fucking first place. Why are you here?"
For real.
But I tried to fucking get rid of you, but she gave
energy.
Yeah. It was she delivered it though. It was good. The fact that it was done well. That probably was. I think Idris was a good character for the most part throughout he just was. There were certain parts he was underplayed in when they wanted to highlight other ones, but he did well. One of my favorite characters had to be Sebastian. It's the cutest thing, and I hate rats, but that he made me love him. I think what's his name? Polka Dot Man. I think that I don't even know who this person is. Like I don't know his character, I don't know his story, but he was so interesting to me.
I think the actor is like really who sold it because he always plays really great characters like that. It was
Actually,
so good.
I'm gonna give
I thought you were the crazy one. I am.
I want to give that actor a shout out because this is not the first time he's played a comic book character. He's been on The
David
Flash. He's been on The Flash. He was in Ant-Man as one of the friends. He's been in a lot. He's been in some of the Batman movies. Yeah.
Oh yes, the Boogeyman. So I remember now, Ant-Man.
Pete, let us weigh in on some characters that you like, man. Come on, I know you got characters.
Well, yeah, no, and you know what I loved about Idris is, and everybody we're talking about like his scene with his daughter. It like, if you really looked at that, how that scene was played, it does not read as like somebody who really didn't want his daughter. It was someone. It read literally as someone who understood he had nothing to give her and wanted to make sure that she was well off and said to her, do this, otherwise stay away from me, because he cared too much but couldn't do enough. It really helped foreshadow at the end, because you see it in his connections with Ratcatcher too, and the way that he's very connected to her in that movie. And even the way he is with Harley sometimes, you can see that he is a caring person. And it really foreshadows that scene at the end where his daughter is like super duper proud of him.
Yeah.
And goes around saying that's my dad. I really, really loved Ratcatcher too. I really like how I almost want to see more of Ratcatcher 2, just because I feel like they didn't get enough screen time, even though they were on the screen for a lot, but they didn't do a lot. Peacemaker was great, but I could see that character getting old quick.
Yeah.
Like getting annoying very quickly. And so it's going to be very interesting to see how they tweak that character going into his solo series moving forward.
Is it a series or is it?
It's a series.
Yeah, it's a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
And then, the Weasel scene was hilarious. Harley, I thought, was really, really great. I thoroughly enjoyed the scene when Harley shot the dictator.
Yes. Yes.
Because, and then the little expose she goes on, just kind of talking about like why. I thought Harley was played so beautifully. Like when they went to rescue her, and she's already out, and she's just like, "I'll go back if you want to do it." Like
from the top.
Take it from the top.
I really like how DC has realized that the money in Harley Quinn is turning her into what the New 52 and later iterations of DC Comics turned her into, as more of like that anti-hero, really kind of like almost a hero kind of character. And Margot Robbie plays her spectacularly. Mm-hmm. That's another one where it's like, I can't see Harley Quinn being played by anyone else. But to me, honestly, King Shark wins the day. King Shark and Amanda Waller, to me, were the best two played characters in that movie. King Shark is so adorably dumb, but smart at the same time. But then when he goes off, you see how powerful he is. Mm-hmm. And it's really great to see. And then obviously Amanda Waller, I just love the way that she, like, you can almost see like Amanda Waller actually cares about the Suicide Squad a little bit, like when she is reluctant to just automatically kill them all at the end. But she understands like she has a business to run and she has to do it the way that she does it. Mm-hmm. Oddly enough, I liked Starro. I
was not a fan of that at all.
Can I give my and then I'm gonna get Tony on this. Starro kind of reminded me of Bebo from Legends, because that's instantly what me and my wife thought was Bebo from Legends. And I have to say it's funny because this is the second time we're seeing King Shark grace the screen, because the first time is in The Flash, and it's really interesting the version that Gunn chose, because the King Shark version we get in The Flash is very violent, very angry, he's smart, whereas in this it's like we got nums. It was just very simple. It was like, again, and Sylvester Stallone got the Vin Diesel treatment. I'm just gonna say a bunch of little funny lines, and that's it. And so I'm tagging you in now. I'm tagging you in.
Thank you, George.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Pete hit a lot of the points that had a lot of the scenes that I was really into. I wanted to talk about King Shark. Like, I love King Shark. I like what they did with him. I think it's great. Seabass talks about how James Gunn was able to use a different version of King Shark versus the Flash. But what I was really comparing him to was the version of King Shark we get in the Harley Quinn TV show, because he's a vastly different character, just a book smart type of character, but will go off on a rage the minute he like smells blood, and he's very comedic, and I think it was really cool to see a different side of him and what James Gunn was able to do, because we all have like these different ideas of who he is, and a great different point from Killer Croc that we got in the first Suicide Squad, which I felt was a big fucking waste to get your like just a fucking awful character. And to the points with Harley Quinn, to me, between her and King Shark, she carries the fucking movie. I think Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn was the best decision they made from the first Suicide Squad, and seeing her develop as a character through all of her movies has led up to this, where Margot Robbie can do no wrong and should be playing Harley Quinn for the foreseeable future. Like,
she's the Will Smith of this movie.
Yeah, and I want to see if they do a movie with her and a Poison Ivy character, and seeing how those two work together.
That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Like whether they go down the relationship line or having them just be really good friends, like how the animated show first starts, doesn't really matter. But I want to see her in that role moving forward, because I think we'll get. I think that could be the next really successful DC movie, is something starring with her. But the moments that everyone's been kind of touching on are the same moments I've had. They really got to me. So.
I'm
telling George, because I'm gonna be honest. Like, again, when I saw that fight with Starro, I'm gonna give everybody a challenge out there. Look up Legends of Tomorrow versus BMO, and then watch the Suicide Squad versus Starro, and tell me which fight you thought was better. Because I mean, again, it's a fucking kaiju. Let's be honest. We got a kaiju fight.
That was hilarious when he said that. Oh my god, a kaiju!
We got
a kaiju up in this shit.
Kaiju in this.
Honestly,
I mean, and I felt bad because Starro, you could do a lot with Starro. Obviously, if you're following recent DC comics, I mean, Starro essentially becomes a version of Starro becomes a new Robin, right? In Jarro, Batman ends up adopting a spore of Starro, who kind of like becomes a new Robin. Because Starro actually like sacrifices itself to save the DC universe, which needs saving every 10 years or so.
Let's be honest. Batman just likes taking random broken kids and then putting them in bright colors to make them what they're known as targets.
Right.
Oh wow!
Nice. Big ups to DC Comics for the big revelation. I don't want to say revelation, but the coming out of Tim Drake in DC Comics. Really cool. It's really awesome to see that kind of representation, especially with big name characters like a Tim Drake Robin. To say that is also to say what to go with Tone was saying about Harley and Poison Ivy. I wonder if DC is willing to take that leap and really position Margot Robbie and the Harley Quinn character as the truly bisexual, almost polyamorous character that the Harley Quinn that we see in the recent run of graphic novels and comics that she is. And it'd be really interesting to see if DC is willing to go down that route and put their money on that, because it would be good to see. But I also find it funny that DC can do great with Aquaman, who, for all intents and purposes, is a ancillary character when you really think about how he's been treated prior to what they did with Jason Momoa. They did great with the first Wonder Woman movie, who was in no way an ancillary character. But, you know, for a lot of people, when you really think about the big heavies of DC, they have dropped the ball on probably the easiest of DC properties in Batman, in Superman, repeatedly, but seem for some reason to always be able to do something really spectacular with very ancillary characters.
So I want to ask you guys a question, because again, everybody could chime in. Actually, Leroy, you could chime in on this. Is where do you see the future of the Suicide Squad movies going? The future of the characters. I know Pete, you already touched up that, or someone touched up on the panel that, you know, we don't know how Peacemaker's going to do with his own show. But where would you like to see the future of the Suicide Squad franchise go? Do you want to see James Gunn direct more Suicide Squad movies? Do you want to see more characters thrown in there? I mean, go ahead, Leroy, take it away.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, like, I've asked my friends a similar question where I'm like, where do we want the DC in general movies to go? Because I think that kind of dictates the entire pace. They spent the last 6-7 years trying to build this DC universe that just wasn't working, and it culminated in a Justice League movie that was so the original movie was so boring or so whatever and so blah that they had to release a Snyder cut to actually like please the people, and then they still went, oh yeah, but we're not releasing that as our series of movies like that. We were just giving you a Snyder cut. We're not giving you the other two movies. So I mean, I would hope that they would just continue what they've been doing as of late, where they just, I feel like they get messed up when they get too ambitious and they try to make a whole universe out of everything. And they just, if you stay focused on making a consistently good movie and a sequel to it, I think that's just where they got to start. I love the idea of just doing a James Gunn Suicide Squad and just leaving that as their own little universe. Maybe they make brief mentions to the Batmans and the whoever's, and they kind of keep it simple. Did you guys see
Mantis in there? You guys,
played the exotic dancers.
It's funny that there's a lot of actors who were in Marvel make those small cameos in there and all that too.
Taika was Ratcatcher 2's dad.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with you, Jero, with that. Like, it's going to be interesting where they go since Flag is now dead.
They made me care about Flag in this one. Like, the first movie felt like, all right, we get it. You're like the asshole guy, but the second movie, you can immediately see when Harley came on the screen, he was like, all right, cool. Like, I got my squad back. Like, I don't know who the rest of these chuckle fucks are, but like, I got.
Like, I didn't pick this team.
I didn't pick all, but like some of these guys I recognize. And
Flag was the only one who played like they'd done this before. Like, Flag was really the only Flag, Boomerang, and Harley. Their characters read as if there was a movie before this. Right. They were the only ones who the way that they interacted kind of told you they had interacted before.
up until the end. For me, I didn't like the switch of, oh, I'm going to expose everybody and it was like a way to show Cena flip the script. It wasn't fleshed out correctly. And why would you choose Flag to all of a sudden now want to expose the government that you work for a covert ops group that kills villains?
Right.
Like, why all of a sudden you grew a conscience? Because this is what you do, bro. You've been doing it. I just didn't like that transition out of nowhere, and then for him to die. It was just a way to set up Cena.
Crazy shit.
Right.
Like, this is the thing.
And he never stopped once to think about, this isn't right anymore. What? Why do you care all of a sudden? And that wasn't so, like, I can understand him caring about his team, but he knows this is a business and this is what he does. It's a Suicide Squad. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think they, they really kind of
Why are
showed.
you mad now?
Sorry, I was so agitated with that part. I'm sorry.
No, it doesn't. I think they really tried to give it to you in his seeds of doubt when he realized that there was a second team. So, like, you've got the first team going in, and they all know what the deal is, and and Blackguard, sells them out, and almost everyone gets killed, and he finds out there was a second team, and so I don't think it did a good enough job to transition to what he decides to do. Yeah. But I think that was probably the reason, the seed they decided to give us to be like, this is why he's having a change of heart. Because now he feels betrayed. Where in the first one, you go out, do your thing, don't fuck with me, or I'm going to blow you up like she did to Slipknot. And he was like, all right, well, whatever. I'm going to do
Also, how does Blackguard sell them out if he's in prison?
I don't know. Yeah, that
how
does that make sense? Make sense.
No sense to me. Like, how did Blackguard sell them out, considering that they're in Belle Reve, and Belle Reve is what Belle Reve is? That made no sense to me.
I mean, what would have made sense with that is that if Waller had known about that ahead of time, because it's like that's why she sent the two teams. If they had shown something like that in a flashback scene of giving Pete Davidson some more time with showing that, and Waller knowing about that, like, okay, your guys are going to be the patsy while the other team goes into the back door, that would have made that scene make much more sense.
It doesn't.
It does. Tell them why you're mad about. But no, let's
because
go
Flag
ahead.
has always felt like the group is expendable. He never himself felt expendable.
Yeah,
right.
Especially with Waller.
And again, that's something that we probably could have seen more fleshed out, which I agree. And it would have made sense with the whole Cena versus Rick Flag scene right there. I mean, where do you guys think the future is going? Because now even Gerald pointed out, which is true, Flag is dead. Where do you guys see the future for the Suicide Squad movie? Who do you see as the replacement for that? Because I don't think it's going to be Peacemaker because he's getting his own series.
To lead the team?
Yeah, to lead the team. Where do you think the future of the Suicide Squad movies are going?
I mean, I don't think it's with any of these characters.
Is Idris intended to come back?
I feel like it's because of what she said. She's like, I told you I'm gonna make you a leader to Bloodsport. I feel like they're trying to push for that. I don't know if that's gonna be the case. I don't know if you're gonna be able to pull Idris for another one, but like, we'll see. I mean, if he is, it feels very like he just happens to be the name. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because I like him, but they didn't. I don't feel like as much as they translated his character from the comics to the character on screen, and we liked him. He wasn't the most memorable performance blew me away part of the movie.
Yeah,
I
don't know. I think we're just stuck with.
Yeah,
we don't know what DCEU is doing. And it's just kind of like
they don't know what they're doing.
They don't know what they're fucking doing, right? So, like, how can we say we want X amount of Suicide Squad movies when we're like, where are they going to fall? Like, are we just going to blindly accept movies in the Nexus and just be like, this is what it's going to be, or try to use some of these characters that James Gunn was able to flesh out in some way and then push them in a different direction? Maybe not be the main antagonists, but just have them show up. I mean, we don't have a bunch of Guardians movies, but we know they're coming out, but then they got used. Guardians 1, Guardians 2, Avengers Infinity War, Endgame, and then we're going to get, as Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, like how many Suicide Squad movies do we need before we have, like, what the fuck are you doing with your universe? And I think that's kind of, I want to know where we're at, because then I think we're just pulling characters out of a hat, and that could just be an animated movie.
Well, now I want to get into.
mean,
Go ahead, Val.
They do that. They do their animation well. So I mean, why not? If that's what works for them, they don't have to do what Marvel does. They don't do what Marvel does well. So
that don't do what Marvel does. That don't work in a fucking shareholder.
Well, that's really not true because they up until like and we were not counting anything after Crisis. They did well with getting up to Crisis on the CW shows. So they showed that they could do it in the show division, but it's for some reason on the studio level where they're doing the movies, they can't fucking do it. But I don't want to be too much into that.
Animated DC kills.
Yeah.
Television DC properties kill. But the minute they get up to big time movies, and again, and we talked about this on previous Nerds episodes, they wanted too badly to be Marvel. They wanted to have the same success that Marvel had, but they tried to hotshot it. And that was the problem. People forget, or I don't want to say people forget, DC fails to realize Incredible Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, the First Avenger were all stand-alone movies. There was outside of the post-credit scenes that tied everything together. So outside of Tony Stark walking into that bar and meeting Thunderbolt Ross, outside of Nick Fury showing up to tell Cap, this is what year it is. Outside of those post-credit scenes, they literally did all of their first movies as standalone vacuum movies. You could watch that whole phase 1 and not be confused by anything. They completely fleshed out the individual characters and used small scenes to tie them together. And then Avengers was really focused on how do we bring you together now? And how do we do that? How do we, what was separate and bring it together? And then in phase 2, you started to see them do movies that referenced other things because now you have that leeway. Because now someone going to see Iron Man more than likely is going to completely understand what has happened. They're going to be somewhat caught up. What DC tried to do from the very beginning was try to come out and say, we're just going to put all of this together in one shot. We're going to bring everybody together. We're going to do a Batman movie that's going to involve Superman, and Superman's going to be in there. People are going to know the connection, and then we're going to have Wonder Woman show up in that movie before her own movie. But then the biggest problem was, even if you were going to do that, the problems became there were so many hanging chads. There were so many different things that didn't correlate. For example, Wonder Woman shows up in BVS, but the storyline you give her there doesn't correlate with the storyline that then comes to fruition in the Wonder Woman movie. Or you have Superman 1 happening, and then that doesn't really correlate with what the Superman story ends up being once you start integrating him into that Batman universe. Or, so there's so many different things where it's like that. They
give us Ben Affleck's Batman with nothing to go on.
Right. And so the puzzle pieces didn't fit. They were trying to make them fit. They were literally trying to put square pegs into round holes and act like we were supposed to be okay with it. And now they're trying to backtrack and do everything and try to make everything. Oh, now we're going to make it a multiverse. We're going to do the whole Flash thing and open it up. And all of that was a different universe. And it's almost as if everything they're trying to do to fix it makes it worse.
Well, I'm going to give my thoughts because I agree with you, Pete. I agree with Jarrell. He's in the comments going off. I agree with everything that's been said about that. Again, I had fun with the Suicide Squad movie. I thought it was fun, but yeah, DC with Marvel's first phase, it's like they had a big picture already there, but they focused on the individual characters because you could see Thor 1 was rushed, but they still focused on Thor. And at the end, they focused on throwing in small elements to let you know it was a bigger universe, whereas DC rushed it. They rushed it really quick instead of focusing on, like, Batman should have had his solo movie before they did Batman versus Superman. We should have got Wonder Woman in her solo movie before we saw them together in an ensemble movie. Whereas Marvel, they did that. And originally, Ant-Man at some point was supposed to be in phase 1, but because it didn't fit the docket in the story, they pushed it back. Because they were like, they wanted to try to get the original Avengers ready. And they were like, yeah, Ant-Man's going to feel too rushed because, again, they realized they were Thor and all that. And what they did is that they planned out their movie. So it's, and that shows you that, again, which I agree with Jarrell, Feige is a mastermind. You have a Kevin Feige that's been there, who was really masterminding this whole scene and everything. And the Justice League, or just do this real quick, this made a sense of that. Yeah, it, and again, I agree. The Whedon cut didn't make sense. None of that stuff made sense because they were rushing it. But I don't want to spend too much on the future of DC because we know right now they're still trying to mop up what they have. I want to get into a fun question because I want to know who you guys thought was going to be the first pick to go out. I want to know who you guys. Yeah, I want to know. We're gonna do a Deadpool here real quick of seeing who did you guys think was going to bite the dust, and did you guys expect that big scene in the beginning?
I think in the beginning when I first saw the original lineup, I honestly thought Javelin was going to be a waste. And TDK, I guess those are the two that I felt like were just fillers kind of thing. They all ended up going, but it doesn't make a difference.
I was thinking Blackguard. Like I was just like, he just seems like he's just gonna do something dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Prove me right.
Leroy, who do you think was gonna bite the dust first?
Honestly, early on, I kind of thought like Polka Dot Man, Polka Dot was gonna die, which obviously, like, I don't know, I just kind of was like, okay, this guy's in the movie, all right.
Yeah, TDK is hilarious. That's his name.
Do we know if it actually stands for anything?
Yes,
The detachable kid.
The detachable kid. The
Oh
detachable
my
kid. They ended up
God.
saying it later, when he pulls his arms out in the beginning. It was just stupid.
Best reaction is when Harley Quinn looks at you and goes, "What the fuck?" Pete, who you thought was going to be your first pick to die?
I will say Polka Dot Man was up there in that lineup for me, but I also thought that Pete Davidson's character was going to go. Mostly because I just hate Pete Davidson, and I was just like,
Jesus.
Mostly, I looked at Pete Davidson's casting and I just went completely Ivan Drago with it. I was like, if he dies, he dies. I don't care. Like, that's it. But yeah. Also, great job on Gunn giving us like the Calendar Man cameo in Belle Reve. Like, you know, again, those obscure characters just in there kind of doing those things.
I don't even know who that is. Who did I miss?
I didn't think of
Calendar
that.
Man
with the dates on his head. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which, again, that's the second character that James Gunn's brother played in the movie.
Yeah, outside of Weasel.
Tone, who was your first pick to die? Who did you think?
Weasel.
And he did.
I feel like we all wanted Weasel to die first.
I thought Weasel was.
I don't think we said, yeah, he's gonna die.
I
first.
thought he was gonna die first because we already have an animal, and there was no way King Shark was dying early, if at all.
Technically, yeah.
That makes sense. That's good logic. You saying
Big brain over here.
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
I-
ferret can
oddly
go to fucking
enough,
hell.
if I gotta be honest, here's the funny thing. Mostly because I didn't do any research into like contracts or anything, but I was kind of crossing my fingers that they didn't kill Harley. I had this weird feeling that they were going to go in a direction of just saying, since we're resetting everything,
And just
we
drop
can
her.
yeah, and
I would have been sad.
I got a
No, they're
little
not going to drop
worried.
Margot. She's safe. She was the one that's safe. They're not.
Yeah, no way.
What's this guy's name? The one who was in Guardians. The one with the blonde long hair.
Michael Roker. He
Michael
was
Rooker,
Savant.
that's
Savant.
Savant.
Savant. Who is this character? I've never even heard of him.
He is
at
the
all.
Batman's Rogues Gallery. He is an obscure Batman's Rogues character, and it was
Most of
just
this
funny.
is Batman's.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
All of DC is mostly a Batman's Rogue Gallery.
Yeah.
Well, the
The thing
more
is-
obscure
And
you
even
get,
if
odds
they
are he
aren't
ended up
a
in Gotham.
Batman, even if they aren't a Batman villain, Batman has kind of fought everybody's villains at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, as I said, it's
Like,
not
at this
it's
point,
not the
next
DC
Suicide
universe.
Squad, the next Suicide Squad, I guarantee, is gonna have Condiment King. I guarantee it.
Yes.
No, they need Kite Man.
You
Yes,
know, all of these
go.
guys, everything you're naming, because I don't follow DC as much as I do Marvel, this is why I focused on Marvel. This is just confirming it for me why Marvel is so much better.
what's
Listen,
really funny
you got to
is
remember, there was a whole storyline with Batman where Batman got amnesia and wore a different colored costume every day of the week, where we essentially had a rainbow Batman. So he had a green costume one day, a yellow costume one day, a blue costume
why?
another day. Because he had
why?
Amnesia. That's why.
Yeah.
That's see, this is why I
Golden
stuck
Age
to Marvel.
Still, to be fair.
But getting on Savant, it was funny because it's like, yeah, we have seen this badass. He's killed a bird and all that. He has his like, and he's looking at everything, and he is the first guy to run off the beat. Like,
He's like, I'm
I
outta
was
here.
Oh
Fuck this.
man, I
He's like,
fucking died. I fucking died.
watch everyone die.
I mean, we needed someone's head to get blown up.
Yeah.
Right.
fair.
Yeah.
And then they end it with a bird eating his like.
The same
Full
bird.
circle.
It looked like the same bird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was the
it
same. Yeah. But
Again, still mad that they got rid of Boomerang. Like,
That was
Yeah.
disappointing. It was a waste.
Yeah.
You bring back an original character from the first one. You should have at least allowed him. Maybe he could have joined Harley. I don't know. I
that
don't know
was
what
the
they
could
cool
did.
have
of, like
show how
G.I. Joe did it
badass he
first.
was with the boomerang.
Huh? Yeah, you got to actually see him use it this time.
yeah, he got to use the boomerang. And again, you have Mongo, who shout out to the actress who was actually in Wonder Woman as playing in Amazon. And again, it just that beach scene. Again, Leroy, that beach scene, when you see the movie, film your reaction
Yeah.
with that beach scene.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
That beach scene is literally the DC's version of Saving Private Ryan.
Deadpool
Oh,
2.
I
Deadpool 2.
Yeah,
It was
I've heard,
Deadpool 2 where he assembled the X-Force and then they were gone right after. That's what that was. That's
Also,
he just
is and I just have to ask, was it editing or was it Javelin's actual Javelin that was creating all those colors and everything when Harley was using the Javelin?
You mean the things that like the birds she was seeing?
thank you.
Yeah, was that like editing or was that like Javelin's actual power?
No, that was editing. Everything I've read is like that's
David.
kind of what she was going through in her head
Ah,
because she's a fucking psycho.
Out
I'm
of
giving
5
it.
stars.
I'm giving it a
Also,
3.5.
he-
3.5.
she apparently, from reports I was reading, she did that scene where she actually unlocked the lock with her feet and everything by herself.
I heard
Yeah.
about
Yes,
Gunn
that
Gunn
was
actually
crazy.
said that in an interview. She actually did it herself, and you only get to see her face a little, but that she did it herself.
Law, you had something you wanted to add in. I saw you got hyped over there for a minute.
Yeah, so for a quick second, that whoever that Mongol character is, do we know who the hell that was? Because
Yeah,
I
That
thought-
her
I
name is
thought-
Mei Ling Ning.
I thought for a quick second they recast or like gender bent Mongol, and I was like, did they waste an OD like powerful villain on like a throwaway character? I would have been so upset, so much more upset than I already was.
No, she's
Apparently,
a Superman
she's
villain.
a
She's a
stunt woman
twin.
in She was also a stunt woman in Wonder Woman.
But Mongol is a twin of another character that fights Superman. So it's like, okay, and they kill her off in the
Mongol
comp.
with the U.
She is
yeah.
the daughter of
This
that
is
one.
Mongal.
Oh,
Yeah,
she
This one is
What
Mongal.
No way.
According
Wow.
to the DC extended universe stuff, she is actually the daughter of the powerful alien warlord Mongol.
Yeah, because Mongol I
Wow.
thought was a guy.
Yeah.
And
Yo, what?
Oh,
is
that's
happening?
wild.
this is and they specifically say Mongal, and when they pronounce her name.
Oh man. what a
But she
waste.
jumps in and she's like, "I got this, yeah!" And then it was
Yeah,
Also,
I was kind of like, what's
I
going on
laughed
with this
that
movie? Like,
entire
that's just-
scene.
Like
I'm
with
like,
Weasel,
what?
with Weasel drowning, like I thought it was like hilarious, like something they're doing. But then when she jumps on the helicopter and then she starts doing the yacht, I'm like,
Taking out
oh,
the
this
bird.
is all fucked up.
it's all rage of fucked up. All right, so we're at that hour. And this hour I am going to give the mic over to The Voice and Leroy. Because again, I want you guys to promote your show again this weekend. But first, before you promote the show, Leroy, tell us some of the stuff about you. Tell us what you're doing. Tell us some things that you're doing on the side and everything. And are you ready for this Friday's match?
Oh, well, I'm Big Game Leroy. I'm the game changer. Of course, I'm ready for Friday. Like this is what I do. I'm a little bit of a multitasker, wrestling with my Switch, kicking butt in the ring at the same exact time. So I'm more than ready for Friday. I got a lot of different personalities, as Pete said earlier, but I think I bring a little flair. And it's a video game themed show, and I'm a video game wrestler. There's no one else better for this show. There's no one better suited to win this match and to level up at this show. If it's Street Fighter, Tekken, Smash Brothers especially, I'm going to pull out the victory no matter what fighting game we're representing.
Okay.
Ooh, we got to get you into a fighting game tournament.
Mortal Kombat, I'm playing. If it's Mortal Kombat, I'm in there.
So
oh wait, you know what? We're gonna do
Fighter 2, Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Oh, Marvel vs. Capcom is a good one.
Those are my only. Like, I'm not great at. The original Mortal Kombat, I'm pretty okay at.
We're gonna have
10 for me.
We're gonna have a nerd smash where we're gonna see VMAC take on Leroy Green in Mortal Kombat. We gotta see that. We gotta set that up.
No, he said no. Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Speaking of things that Leroy Green is doing, I do want to also really give a really big shout out to follow also not only We Are Wrestling. Again, there's a reason why I picked the name for the company We Are Wrestling, because I honestly truly believe that wrestling is bigger than any one company, and the wrestlers that work for us and do what they do for the companies. It's about everyone that's out there. This is a community, honestly. Give a follow in Invictus Wrestling. Where Leroy Green is their social media champion. They have a show coming up. I think it's September 25th, Leroy?
Yes, you got it right. We're going to have a pretty big star in Danhausen, who was just announced a few days ago. Very nice, very evil.
Can you give me that?
Same location as this show here in the Knights of Columbus in Ridgefield Park. So Invictus Pro Wrestling, where Big Game Leroy is a big part of what they do at Invictus, as well as what they do over with the Polyam movement led by MV Young. They actually have the Polyam, whose birthday is today, actually. Happy birthday, MV Young.
Yes, happy birthday, MV, our king.
Polyam Woodstock, actually a show happening in Woodstock, New York, up there in Woodstock. So the Polyam invading Woodstock, a great thing going on there. Leroy, a big thing there. But of course, this Friday night at the Knights of Columbus, 106 Bergen Avenue in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey, We Are Wrestling brings you its debut show. Wanna be starting something featuring 9 quality, incredible matches, 7 of them first-time ever encounters, featuring Darius Carter versus the Pan-African World Diaspora champion, and that belt, that title, recently recognized by Pro Wrestling Illustrated as an official world championship. Darius Carter versus Trish Adora, who's actually also competing in the Ring of Honor Women's Championship tournament. That match is on the card. Saeed Al-Sabah versus Matt Cross. That match is on the card. We also have former NXT and 205 Live superstar Anthony Green, the alternative Anthony Green, coming to We Are Wrestling to face his hand-picked opponent, Rob Killjoy, one third, I should say, of the Ugly Ducklings team. Rob Killjoy versus AG. Anthony Green is going to be an incredible matchup as well. Cash Flow, Ken Broadway going one-on-one up against MLW star Richard Holiday. That is going to be an incredible matchup. We have a tag team match. MSP, the gentleman formerly known as the Main State Posse, MSP, going into tag team action against the besties in the world. And the besties, a former Evolve Tag Team Champions and making a very rare Northeast appearance. This is what's really, really great. You're going to love their entrance theme, by the way. When you hear their entrance theme on Friday, everybody is going to love it. We also have the 5-way style scramble match. Well, you'll have the Striker, the Kick Demon, Janai Kai, up against the Powerhouse, the Colossal Mike Law, against the Hybrid, the American Gangster, Isaiah Wolf, against the Monster, El Oso Blanco, Bruno, against the Acrobat himself, the Big Game, Leroy in that 5-way style scramble match, as well as triple threat match action as the gifted one, Yaya, takes on Yo-Ya and Steve Pena in triple threat action. And two women's matches on the card. We've got Masha Slamovich up against Savannah Evans. And we've got Space Jesus, Billy Starks, up against the Scrunchy Queen and the leader of the Scrunchy Squad, Becca. It is an incredible show, 9 matches. The pre-show match starting at about 7:30, which will feature 3 students, one from the Worldwide Dojo run by ROH Superstar Cheeseburger in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a student from T2T to Technique to Training, a school run in Brooklyn, New York, and a student from the Limitless Dojo up in Maine. Those 3 students will be facing off in our pre-show match starting at 7:30. Tickets are still available on brownpapertickets.com. You can find it by looking up We Are Wrestling. Go to any of our social media, Instagram, links in the bio. Twitter, it's the pinned tweet. Facebook, it's on our website. Click where it says website. It'll take you right to ticket. $55 for a VIP ticket. Gets you a front row seat. Gets you an in-ring meet and greet with Anthony Green. Gets you a fully signed, fully autographed event poster. That poster right there, fully autographed by every competitor on the show. And then you got front row tickets for $30, second row tickets for $25, general admission for $20. Listen, it's going to be one heck of a show. And to think it's only the first one. Want to be starting something. And if you don't catch it live, if you happen not to catch it live and then you start hearing stories from your friends about the incredible show that you missed, don't worry. We'll have it up for you on IWTV soon afterward. But guess what? You're going to have to pay per match at that point. So why don't you just buy yourself a ticket, come down to Richfield Park, New Jersey, and catch the whole show live and in living color for Want to Be Starting Something.
You should do commercials.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't know how he
Listen,
does it. Like, that was like 10 minutes.
So good. That's good.
At most.
Listen, there's a reason why they call him the voice of the generation. Again, Pete, that was an awesome promo for you guys.
Yes.
I'm not excited to go to that. Like, we're gonna get Gerald to fly up from wherever he's at to go to the show too. I mean, again, guys, hit up the show. Go to what was the website again, Pete? Brownpaperbags.com.
Brownpapertickets.com. Look up We Are Wrestling. Like I said, you could also find the link in our bio on Instagram. It is also our pinned tweet on Twitter. And also, if you go to Facebook and look up Want to Be Starting Something, the event presented by We Are Wrestling, it is there as well.
Nice.
Again, guys, I want to thank
available at the door. Tickets will be available at the door, but VIP tickets are pre-sale only. So the VIP tickets will be pre-sale only.
So I want to thank you guys again for coming on, sharing everything. I want to wish you guys luck with the event going on this Friday. Again, guys, I hope everyone has fun who goes to the event. I hope everyone's excited. Again, you heard it here. Get them tickets. Check out the show. Support everybody. They again, Pete has given a shout out. Support Leroy Green and the game Leroy. Again, you guys want to follow these guys.
Yes.
But this has been another awesome episode.
Yet, go on YouTube. If you haven't seen it yet, go on YouTube and look up the incredible scene between Big Game Leroy and one of the most toughest men I've ever met in the wrestling business. Low key. Those two.
Oh, that man is terrifying.
Wait, okay. I'm gonna have to find that link.
Yeah, if you have not seen what happened in that matchup, trust me, you missed a viral moment. So trust me, you're gonna want to go check that out.
If it was Loki, I got to see it now. That's it.
I wrestled the legendary Loki, and he is literally the most terrifying man. And I said this before the match. I say it after the match. The most terrifying man in professional wrestling. And I wrestled him, and I'll let you watch it and see what happens.
Is it on
your...
All I have to ask is, how did you survive? We're asking the green room how you survived this kick. So, but no, this has been another awesome episode. I want to thank you guys for coming on, VMAC. I want to thank you for coming on too, being the guest host as well. Everyone was awesome. I want to thank everyone who's chimed in on the chats and everything, because again, we love all you guys for your support and all that. If you guys are tuning in for the first time, please follow, get a show. Good luck, Leroy. Best. Yeah, George, you gotta get them on your show, bro. Go on, get them on Cast the Craze, bro. I tell you, it's going to be a fun time between you, Sam, Pete, Leroy, and everybody. So I've already thrown that out there. But this has been your boy, Sebastian.
It's your boy Lo.
And your boy Tone from across the hall.
We want to wish you guys a good night. Stay tight.
Good night.